Just when I thought Para couldn't get any better, they proved me wrong. Again. I've gotten to test out some awesome new features that they just dropped, so when they asked to sponsor this video, it was a no-brainer. For those of you that don't know what Para is, it's an app that gives drivers the transparency that we wish the gig apps would give us. But it does so much more than just that. Before we go any further, click the link in the pinned comment or the description and download Para for free. Today, I guarantee you it will make your life so much easier. One of my favorite features is the ability to flag a bad order. And being as that Para listens to the drivers, unlike gig apps, they were realizing that drivers were using the flags for positive reasons as well as negative. So, you guessed it, you can now flag for good and for bad reasons. Let's have a look at this Wendy's order. We're going to click into it. We're going to scroll down here. We're going to press flag offer. Now we can mark drop-off address or mark pickup address. So let's start with mark drop-off address. So we click that. Now we've got a couple of options in here, which we didn't have before. How cool is this? We can now mark it positively or negatively. So being is that this is the drop-off address, let's mark positively. So we can say location is safe, easy access to the location, or easy access and handoff. So for this sake, let's just assume that it was an easy handoff. We would just click that and we could flag offer. But now let's take a look at the mark negatively. So no parking access, big one in my market. So issue accessing building, also a big one in my market. So this will come in super handy. We have a ton of secure buildings, but I digress. Difficulty with security. If you're in a major city like LA, New York, Chicago, you are going to have more of an issue with this than somebody like me. So you can also choose to mark something else. So that's the mark negatively option. So now if we wanted to mark the pickup address, this one can be fun too. So order was never prepared. So this would be super handy at restaurants that are known to not start the order until we show up. So you could just mark that and you'd be on your way. Like a prime example of this is Five Guys. Drivers know that Five Guys is notorious for not getting the fries ready until the driver walks in. So in my market, Five Guys, you end up waiting a minimum of about 5 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes before you can walk out with your order. So that would be a perfect time to select that the order was never prepared. So something else we can do, individual was rude. If they have rude staff, if they're just being jerks, mark them. That way you'll never forget. So you can also select issue with the order quality. And of course, you can choose something else. So these flags are super easy to use. They will, when you get an offer, they'll have a drop-down menu and it'll just show you why you flagged them. Now that we've taken a look at flagging a pickup for a negative reason, now let's do it for something positive. So if we click here, we can click mark positively. Now our options are pickup order was fast, which is, very self-explanatory. So if you have a restaurant in your market that's known to be quick, mark that. You'll never forget it. This is especially handy if you're in a huge city, major market, and you have hundreds and hundreds of restaurants. That option is awesome. Order was prepared on time. So if you walk in, the order is just ready. Another great option there. Easy access to the location, self-explanatory. They have their own parking lot. You don't have to worry about that. You can just walk in. That's the one for you. And of course, you can mark it with something else. How easy is that? On top of that, they also have the flags where you can auto decline from restaurants. So between the two of these, this should make your life so much easier as a driver. We get orders while we're moving, and the less we have to look at while we're moving, the safer we are. Now let's say that the reason you want to flag something isn't listed. That's when you would type in your own specific reason. Let me give you an example of why this would be beneficial. As drivers, we've all had unique experiences. I'd like to share one of mine. I got an order on Grubhub and I drove to go pick it up. When I got to the restaurant, the order wasn't quite ready yet, so I chose to use that time to look over the order to make sure I wasn't going to miss a drink or something. I noticed that they ordered 2 of the same entree, but when the bags came out, there was only 1 styrofoam container when, in my opinion, there should have been 2. So I brought it to one of the staff members' attention, and they assured me that the entire order was in there. So, against my better judgment, I took the order to the customer. And you guessed it. Within 10 minutes of dropping it off, my phone rang saying that there was a missing item. This would be a perfect time to flag the restaurant. That one specific person didn't do their job. However, that's not the usual experience I had at that restaurant. So I could write in there, if such and such is working, avoid. Now, the flip side of that, if I wanted to mark the drop-off, I could say something like the customer was extremely reasonable. Here's another example of a time that I would use a positive flag. There's a few houses in my market that make sure to leave snacks and waters out for drivers. That is always such a nice and welcome surprise when that happens. So if I can flag in the app that that person is likely going to have some kind of a treat for me, I'm more likely to accept their order. Here's another example. There's a house in my market that is a little bit difficult to deliver to. You park on the road and then you have to walk down a bunch of stairs and then around the house and deliver the order to a specific door. However, this specific person likes to use the delivery instructions to tell a joke. This would be a perfect time to use the positive flagging feature and enter your own notes. Something I would go with is difficult to deliver to, pain in the butt parking, sense of humor, well worth it. Para is making drivers' lives so much simpler. If you aren't using it yet, you should seriously consider trying it out. If this new feature wasn't good enough, you can also see entire delivery addresses on Uber Eats. You can auto-decline based on your own parameters. You can auto-decline restaurants. You can do so many incredible things with Para. Click the link in the pinned comment or the description and download Para for free right now. And thank you again to Para for sponsoring this video.